of these teams decided to deliver, I should say, as Mammoth will go for the first pick on blue. Right out the gates, gonna remove Akali and the Fresh.
Yeah, Yuumi going to be banned on the other side as well with the Xin Zhao. It makes sense, again, for anyone who doesn't know Mammoth. They are new players, so I don't blame you, but a quick rundown of Rocco. Not only is he rocking the most powerful haircut in esports, full stop, he's a Yuumi and Braum player, so you can do the math on what that means, with the Yuumi being one of the first 3 bans. Take it off the board. Braum not as much of a threat in any world, on any planet. So definitely free to pick that one if you would like. And Reufury is a Veigar player. He also made Challenger just quietly Skimmy playing Assassin. So while he is a Veigar player, I believe he said yesterday it was his favorite champion. It's not going to be the thing that he always defaults to. It's like a pocket niche option.
Yeah, let's have a look at his profile before. Got a lot of games on Yone, Yasuo, as well as the Kassadin 2. So this is what always excites me, right? When we talk about metas and when we do have this clash of experience versus upcomers, what does it actually look like in the picks and bans? Because one part of you would say, we're just going to blanket ban what is meta. The other part says, no, we're actually going to show respect to these particular picks because these are people that will pilot it better than probably 90% of the server.
I'm sorry, this draft already hurts me if you're a Mammoth fan. Oh my god. You know, yesterday, Skimmy, we were talking about the Peace draft. We saw the Renekton lock in, you're like, that's an AP jungle angle. Mammoth banned 80 junglers. We've seen the Renekton again. Chiefs flex it to mid lane as well. I'm just copping the biggest wave of deja vu that I've ever seen right now from the Chiefs on red side here. That hurts.
We'll see what Mammoth can do to try and answer back, right? They've definitely locked themselves in. A lot of scaling options, Corki being the most obvious one. Once again let through, so I think Mammoth can find some early game solutions, some answers, some avenues to reach that point like we've seen the champion deliver. But Aphelios, as well as the Lulu, another champion that can certainly look to try and up the ante. But I mean, you're going to be stacked, right? It's all these questions of they look strong, they will be strong, but if Chiefs can draft what they've shown so far, I mean, they're going to blast you before that's even a consideration. Yeah,
there's certainly the really hard scaling possibility there from the Chiefs side. But like you mentioned, yeah, there is definite strengths in what Mammoth have built so far as a 3-person composition. I feel like Aphelios with Lulu is pretty self-sufficient. They should just be a scaling lane. Chiefs are the ones obviously now applying the pressure. It's not going to be a Dragku Sona angle, unfortunately, for Kitty and for yourself who were looking for that one. No Sonas. It's going to be the engaged support. So they have the proactivity. They have the first move. It is now a Renekton and a Nautilus in lanes for a Diana jungle. So the free setups there for sick wombos. For Mammoth, it's surviving early, getting to those items, getting to those scaling points. So a lot of their burns will probably be centered towards that theory. And that's a really nice AD carry ban to ensure that, right? Get rid of the aggressive Samira choice. I'm wondering where they go next. They think that Raes will play, because every angle for Raes is a Draven angle, if memory serves.
Oh, I remember Draven at Worlds, and he's actually popping off. Who was it against? It was LNG, I believe, and they're actually, they were this close, but it didn't work out eventually. I am wondering if they're going to continue to go down that path of just removing these AD carries, perhaps an Ezreal. Ezreal is Raes' most played in his entire career. Certainly a champion that can be very elusive, could be very annoying if a 1v1 were to happen and both supports went roaming. Especially if Rocco needs to try and match that of Dragku. So we'll see what they decide. They go for the Gwen instead, so still valuing that Topoon is an absolute bully in that top lane.
Yeah, Topoon definitely is showing, of course, that the Renekton is flexible with that Gwen ban, still paying their due respects through the top lane. Topoon with no hesitation could still easily look towards the Gnar right now. If they really wanted to put the Renekton mid. But the beauty of the Chiefs composition is you expect an AD carry to be picked here, and you expect that 5th pick to be a counter towards a solo lane, because Mammoth have to show both. Both their remaining champions right now, including their top lane. So pretty free time here for Chiefs on red side. Pretty scary to see the Chiefs on red side at all.
It's a very easy setup, isn't it? This bot lane matchup with the Nautilus as well as the Jhin. So much CC. We've seen it work wonders already. You just locked in place. I mean, you can look to try and lock in that Summoner Cleanse, but it's not necessarily getting all the value. There's the Tahm cage. Please lock it in. Surely, there it is. Tronthepom, proficient at this one. We asked, and he's delivered.
Tell you what, Kitty actually nailed that before he even said anything in the interview. Straight up said, will we see a Tahm Kench? There it is. Looking towards this last pick, I feel like Jarvan's Jarvan. I'm going to just stick with junglers while that's a hover because Lulu's already there. It's a jungler that they need to lock in. Physical damage is really the one requirement. So Talon, right, is going to be the champion of choice. The LPL has been playing some Talon. It does exist. Crazy amount of damage can come out of that champion. A lot of assassination threat now for the likes of Raes and the likes of Arthur on that Diana pre-Zhonya's Alpha.
But I wanted the Talon and maybe a Yuumi, but we're going to get the Talon instead. It is the most played so far for Meifan, so certainly a champion that he'll be well versed in and can look to try and cause some headaches here for Raes. But the Chief's going to answer back and say, we just have so much damage. Topoon gets the answer, the 5th and the final pick. He can pick whatever he wants, and into that time, Kench, he says, Tryndamere.
Could be mid. Tally could still play the Trynd mid. That's the beauty of these picks right now, is it's so flexible for them. Yeah. The Renekton is the setup lane for the Diana ganks. The Tryndamere is more the sole point of pressure with just Diana hovering in terms of how they're going to influence it. But their team fighting is obviously going to be quite powerful when they put them both together. If you think back to yesterday's games with Pentanet.gg with this combo, they were just monstering with the amount of damage they put out at the get-go of a team fight, and the rest of it was just clean-up duty. Works really well with a Jhin composition. One trap that you can fall into with a Renekton and a Jhin is that you don't have damage in your comp overall. You know, there's some damage, but it could scale off and resistances could counter you. So the Diana comes in clutch as a sole AP, does an incredible amount of DPS by herself, and Tally provides a high damage split push threat in mid lane. Chiefs comp makes a lot of sense, lots of cohesion there across the board.
I'm glad you raised the point about the flex for Tally in the mid lane, because the last time we actually saw him play this Tryndamere was against the Red Canids, right, at Worlds. That iconic full best-of-5 series to try and advance OS into the group stage of an international tournament. He finished that one 8-1-10, absolutely smurfing. New season and another chance to impress once again. Here are your lineups. Mammoth with a lot of their pocket picks. Do they have enough of a bridge to ensure that this Corki and Aphelios can give us the damage and that late game policy? Or do the Chiefs have far too many answers?
And it is going to be a battle on two different fronts here, it feels like, from the side of Mammoth and Chiefs. Right now, you've got some free scaling down in that bottom lane the Lulu's going to provide. Corki also wants to be scaling in mid lane. And it's almost similar to last game with, you know, tier building champions or item reliant champions trying to find their way into the game 20 minutes plus. Not a Rengar top lane. So don't be fooled by the graphic as we are hopping onto the Rift, Skimmy, for game 2.
We certainly are loading into the Rift for game number 2. It's the Chiefs. They're taking on Mammoth. A big game. David meets Goliath. Two very different rosters. One which has no pro experience. The other,
too much.
26 years. Older than some of these players. Crazy amounts of experience.
In esports years, they are basically from the Jurassic period. Chiefs now looking for an invade here.
Certainly are. And as we get ready to see what happens in this early game, it's another chance to introduce a fan favourite, you'd have to say. One of the coaches here for the Chiefs, it's Kuden. Mate, how are we?
I
have to ask a nice simple question for you. The last time Chiefs won a title, it just so happened that Babip and Raes were on that roster. That was Rift Rivals in 2018. So is that the good luck charm? What about this time?
Yeah, Raes is the best ADC from OS ever, but he hasn't had a good coach since 2016. So this year is his year, and he's got the most aesthetic support as well. Best spot line the
so a
world's
good
ever
looking
seen.
bot is all we need.
Yep.
Fantastic. Well, I know that you're highly spoken and highly regarded in the community. Look, I'm going to leave it at there as we load into this one, prevent missing any first bloods. But I know the fans love you. Is there anything you want to say to them quickly?
No. See you guys at MSI.
I appreciate it as always, Kuden. Good luck.
Gibby hasn't had a good coach since 2016 is a strong phrase to say for someone that competed in the NALCS with professional coaching infrastructure. But we'll see what our Lord and Savior of Oceania, Kuden, can provide to the man. Especially the best ADC of all time from Oceania, with the likes of Lost and King running around in other regions themselves. But nevertheless, we're into this game. 2 minutes and 20 seconds in, and you would expect a bit of casual farming. It does seem like after that first little look in by Chiefs, it was really just to get a ward down at the Raptor camp, which is your pretty standard play for seeing where a red start or red side start jungler is going to go next. So they'll know probably from this point that it is a level 3 red side moving towards a full clear just for the Talon. Where Arthur on the other side, you know, that cerebral jungler that gave them a gold lead, Skimmy, even when they were losing in kills, is going to be playing on the opposite side of the map.
Certainly is. And it's going to be interesting to keep tabs on those two particular champions. Here's one of them, this time Kench, as well as that Talon, as to where they go, what they can achieve. And if they can try and hit those breakpoints nice and early on to try and drive some early momentum, cause Chiefs a few headaches, find themselves the opportunity to come into this game with a bang. Very early rotate here from Topoon. He's pushed a wave in under no pressure whatsoever. There's no vision. Reufury in trouble. He could just flash forward. This in slice and dice with the stun, and well, that is first blood for the Chiefs.
It's really unfair, man. That's just rude. He just gets a free lane in top lane, pushes it in, just casually walks mid lane, and they get a kill. I mean, what do you even do if you're Reufury? You could try and flash your way out in that situation. You'd have to be really fast on the trigger, though, with reactions. Topoon has literally won the game. Skimmy, we're 3 minutes, 45 seconds into the game, and Topoon has just ended 2 people's careers.
It's illegal. It is illegal. How can he be so good at this game?
Reufury's farming with W.
Oh. Very hard for me to become speechless, given that I have a job of just talking a lot, but you look at that and you wince. It's painful to say at 4 minutes in, you've got this pocket pick Talon, you don't have a blue buff, he's rotated mids and found a first blood.
Top!
The Renekton dream!
Topoon's a freak. Of a good kind if you're on his team. Of the worst possible kind if you're his opponent. That's Topoon in a nutshell. He's an absolute demon. Oh, it's going to be a big split on Summoner's Rift for top laners that are against him.
Let me just let that sink in for a second. Well, another news. Let's look elsewhere on the map and sort of see how things are doing, as the Valkyrie once again has to be utilized for that CS. Bot lane seems to be ahead right now. Voice and Rocco doing what they can. They've shoved in away, but Dragku is in the area because there is vision. So they've delayed Rocco at least. Won't be synced up resets.
Yeah, that was good from Rocco though, because he does still back away accordingly, as long as he doesn't get caught here. So now this is bad from Rocco. Needed to really respect the wave was bouncing, and he has no choice but to stay. He's just lost too much time, and he'd lose too much tempo. There's a real world where if Rocco backs there, Arthur just comes bottom right, and it's a 3-on-1 dive, and it's impossible to play if you are voice on this Aphelios. So just means he's going to be down a reset. Still a Lulu, so it's okay in the end. Really, we have to look towards this top lane matchup and say that it is 20 CS down against a Renekton that ganks mid, used flash mid, stole a blue buff, and came back top. That is the place that is the most dire so far. And looking back to yesterday's games, that is starting to find a point of consistency for us.
It really is. And I suppose if we circle the question back to what Mac mentioned before, right, who's the focus, who's the carry? I mean, they have all been carries in their own right. We have seen 3 of these members from top, mid, and bot work on a roster before, and that was of championship caliber, but it feels already like we've got a very different opinion of how they want to play things out. No longer is Tally the substitute mid laner playing to facilitate. No, he is the carry. You could also argue that Raes is the carry, but Topoon is playing Renekton, which is going to have all that early game carry potential too. It always blows my mind, right, when you have this many carries, but it works.
Yeah, I mean, it's about the type of carries though, Skimmy, right? It's not just a bunch of mechanics max 16-year-olds running around on Summoner's Rift. They are experienced players, multiple role players as well as multiple years, different influences and metas that they have been resilient through. So they've all kind of done the hard yards, understood what it means to be a weak side Titan in League of Legends. And so it's not just a case of having a bunch of carries, and it's not too many cooks in the kitchen in that respect. It's actually just a super team.
Certainly is. All the hype surrounding them, but I suppose now you gotta hope that you can believe in that hype. We've seen certain teams like this happen in the past. Believe the hype, or all that early momentum soon to be discovered as the late game weeks come on through. We've had time and time again the whole story of Order playoff buff, where we see more situations like that take place of all these other strong contenders for the title.
So right now, it feels like we haven't seen Arthur in the game at all, Skimmy. Like, just thinking about it now, he's just been an invisible jungler, but he has hit level 6. That's kind of the one thing that a Diana wants at all costs. You know, you want to lose as little as possible, hit that ultimate, and then that breakpoint for your ganking is insane. You saw the wave top potentially building to be a crash under Topoon's turret just a minute ago, so it depends on how they choose to play this one out. You can see the sweeper used in Tribush and Control Ward placed by Topoon. Tronthepom has to face check this bush. He has no choice. If he wants to stay in this lane, he has to walk into that bush. His other option is leave lane. But I think they've found a kind god in Topoon this time around who's not going to let Arthur waste time.
He isn't. Arthur is, as you can see here, going to go for the Herald. There was a bit of an obscure fact I saw going around the Twitter sphere about itemization the other day, talking about why go for the HEXTECH alternator in the build path towards a rocket belt when you can get actual more raw AP in this avenue instead. Min-max decision making, but we see it here today. Will it be the difference for a team fight that is soon to break out? Herald down to 1k, close to smite range, Arthur disengaging away, flashing 2, smite secure, can he pick it up? Can they pick it up? They've lost members already. It's a 1-for-1 so far. Support for jungle. Tally looking to try and jump in. Popping that Undying Rage at the very last moment. Looking to try and find that execute with crit. Really ramping up here, but he can't find the kill. He can't tap the Q and he can't get the health back. Won't burn the flash, but he utilized the ghost. Will the rest of the Bruiser Boy duo be enough? Oh, bated breath there. As a hook went wide, a flash had to be burnt to respect it.
Yeah, I mean, that was actually really well played by Reufury as the fight fizzles out, right? Has his flash still at the very end of that one, still in the middle of everybody, just putting damage out. That was a package as well coming out of that Corki. You can see the AD carry is not involved. They're just having a pretty casual 1v1 down here. But at the end of the day, that was Mammoth holding their own against Chiefs in a skirmish, and it's the first real skirmish that we've seen. It was a good package, right, because it dodges out on the hook. Rocco just gets jumped on by all of the Bruiser boys. The cost is high where Arthur still goes down as a trade, but he does get the smite on the Herald. So you'll see Topoon in the middle of the fight will just casually list to the right. He's able to pick that one up. Tally gets stunned by the Tahm Kench, so he actually loses all usefulness with that ultimate being popped at the same time. And Reufury is able to get into the mix, and a nice flash at the very end saves his bacon, but an even trade overall, you would say, except that the Herald is in hand and still Chiefs in control of the map. So much more to play for.
Yes, 10 minutes in, breaking point is to be found of a 2k lead, mid-top, seeming to be the area of prime focus. And for good reason too, that's where we've seen the majority of the action so far in this game. Question will now be though, what will Topoon decide to do with this Herald? He's asked for Arthur to rock up to this lane. The fixed skin is there, the shield has been consumed, but you can't mitigate that much. So much burst and so much damage. And surely now a top tier 1 soon to fall on down. The rest of Mammoth are going to try and answer back here, being rather aggressive just to give Meifan an invite into the jungle, but the rest of Mammoth are looking to all put the pressure bot side.
It was a really early summon on that Herald, so this is going to be a fairly inefficient turret take in the end. It will still go down with this wave, so it's not a huge deal. Just runs the risk of perhaps being a little bit slower and perhaps missing out on a second charge, but they should be okay. The trades on the other side, yeah, look, it's a dragon at best right now. And you can see from the posturing of Chiefs the possibility of a contest. I don't think it's something that they want to go all in for unless Mammoth missed position, but it basically confirms that the Drake is being done. It confirms that a second charge can go off in top lane, Skimmy.
Wow.
And it confirms that a top lane inner turret will fall at 11 minutes as well, which is what, another 650 in the pockets of Topoon and Arthur? Like they need it.
We've seen this before though. This is the exact play that happened yesterday. The fact that they took 0 kills, weren't interested in skirmishes at all. They just played for lane dominance. Topoon got 2 turrets, and from that point on, macro was the name of the game. It was so hard to recover from that point. And I suppose the point you're looking at from Mammoth here was invest everything towards bot side, ensure that Meifan can invade, that they can get that vision, that the consolation prize is this dragon, but Chiefs just don't care.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they're making money, that's what matters the most, right? And you could make the conversation on teleport difference for bot lane and what that means, but Chiefs are saying we're still playing towards the teleport lane anyway. You know, no one's up here to help or win the 2v2. Supreme confidence from them so far. You've got Tally with a really good matchup in mid as well. And you're starting to see those movements from the Hex Gates. I think this is our first HEXTECH soul in the LCO, so you'll now see some mobility from those Hex Gates. Meifan about to walk into potential death.
Careful. Oh no! He's been absolutely played there by the safety of what could have been vision. X-Flash comes across, and as he jumps across the wall, he's met by a depth charge.
Yeah, just gets put to sleep, and unfortunately we talk about it, we've cursed him, the Hex Gate spotted on a ward. He goes to have a look at the Krug camps, and a Hex Flash going to secure that one. Well played by the Chiefs. Top lane, the lead that they have up there has transitioned into item purchases in the jungle. That now comes down towards bottom lane. And you can see that really left reeling is Mammoth, always one step behind the punch, Skimmy, and 6,000 odd gold and growing at a rapid pace.
Very scary situation to find yourself in, so accelerated so early on, 13 minutes in, and well, when that Unleashed teleport comes about, no space on this map will be safe. As the Conan Call comes out, just to make Reufury's life a little bit harder to try and see us under this turret as that wave crashes in. Another wave in mid, also doing the exact same. Topoon already popping that dominance nice and early, looking to try and slice on Dice in. A flash away from Voice, has the red and white, but it's not enough when you're this far behind, burning both summoners, but not burning anyone down.
Arthur just going to have a little skirmish there with Reufury and Meifan, but he's able to walk his way out, no issues at all. Tronthepom also was about 5 seconds off having the flash, I think, on that Tahm Kench during the skirmish. Not going to be able to use the ultimate and actually save his AD carry in Voice. Voice, unfortunately, is not in a position where he considered a mid lane outer turret by himself and feels safe. It is no longer a safe space for him. Mammoth, I think, a quick lapse of judgment. The Lulu goes to place wards with their jungler, which is your standard mode of operating in competitive league, right? Jungle supports move together, but your AD carry has to be safe.
Certainly does. Just enveloped in the idea that Topoon is soon to eclipse double the gold of this time Kench. A very scary situation to find yourself in, but it's much to our point at the top of the show, right? I want to see some more early game aggression, and this is exactly it.
You see a lot of people now moving towards bottom lane. Tronthepom going to be here to make sure there is no skirmish, and I believe that's also a map flip from the side of Mammoth. Looking at the Herald that is being up and available, Tronthepom, no teleport, but really no choice. I don't think you can put Reufury against Tally now that the Gale Force is completed and you've got a Mana Mune without being fully stacked to Muramana.
Yep.
You're just not a comparative champion to a Tryndamere. I don't know if you can actually willingly fight this Herald if Chiefs are all on the map. I'm not sure that's a realistic possibility. We'll see what they choose to do, however.
Oh, here comes Topoon, saying you're being greedy for it. Unleashed portal is available as the TP comes on through. And up rocks the TK. But he's realised, I'm surrounded by far too many members. Out comes the Devour. Bear in mind, this is not 12.2, so there isn't an extra boost of movement speed just yet. So he is still lagging behind and falling on down. Can Raes survive? He cannot. It's a consolation prize, and that is a huge shutdown. A double kill fan hit from Dragku. It's the Chiefs all the same. Not ideal for who it goes to, but they won't mind. They're hunting for the ace. They are hunting for that ace, and there it is.
Yeah, meanwhile, at the Rift Herald, Arthur has just cleaned up with Tally. Any surviving members were just considered flank. Chiefs come in, they'll basically get the ace, they'll get the Rift Herald as well. We'll see the remnants of this one as Arthur is the one who kicks it off. It's Voice and Rocco. It's an Aphelios and a Lulu, or it was an Aphelios before he just got literally one hit. And those are two skirmishing champions that we saw yesterday. You know that Chiefs have been scrimming Pensonet.gg just from the draft alone. Yeah. Terrifying skirmishing.
Look at Dragku's Nautilus low-key though, doing more damage than the bot lane of Mammoth combined.
In the fight or total?
Just in that comparison there, I mean, his Nautilus just does a little bit more damage. I wonder what it is.
He can just lift more, man.
True.
Gains IRL, lift more on the Rift.
Must be a PB, 1 rep.
Good reference, Skimmy, I'll pay that one.
Let's see what happens in this bot lane as we return to the action. Tronthepom escorting as well as protecting his jungler here. But they will have to sacrifice a fair bit for this. That's the first HEXTECH Drake taken on down. A little bit of extra damage for them to talk about. Ability haste and bonus attack speed. But what we're all really excited for is that HEXTECH Dragon Soul. The chain lightning effect stacking on through, big damage to come on through as a result. And will we get any creative HEXTECH gate utilization this game?
So, well, I don't know if we're going to use the package here. We'll hold our thought just perhaps because he was posturing for it. There was 3 topside. The Hex gates, I think, have not been utilized to the level that they could potentially be. And I think simple vision is obviously the biggest counter for that, right? Impossible to place good vision if you're in a losing situation. But for example, the one right there, as Tron's at risk of being dove, provides sick flank angles if Chiefs are pushing the bot lane inhibitor turret. There's a teleport.
Say about a flank, and there is one, and that's a package that says, I'm joining my team. Not much more than that, very defensive.
Is that just a teleport for efficient package usage? Because that's respectable.
I tell you what, that's Oz Post. I want that guy delivering my parcels because I'm always home, but I always seem to miss them. Anyway, let's go for this team fight here. Tally jumps them through, instantly exhausted. Out comes the Undying Rage. Has a Ghost active and a Flash, but he's all in. He commits, but he falls on down. It's Corki that picks it up. Nice for the Corki. A big shutdown and a chance to work towards this Ludens.
Yeah, Tally having a little bit of a laugh there with that dive. Had Flash in hand, but Gale forces forwards, Ghost into the mix, and if you're against a Lulu that has Exhaust up, it is pretty difficult to be a Tryndamere into that many people. It's not going to be as simple as crit the carry, kill the carry, and get out if you can. So he does go down, and you're right, that's nice gold. It realistically goes into the hands of the correct person, the one person that needs the money as well. In the Corki, the scaling choice for them. Still an impossible situation for them, 11,000 down, 19 minutes in, Skimmy. But hey, they are getting the money where they need it.
Certainly are. Will we be on par to get a new personal best on the quickest game today? I believe we had a 23-minute victory already. Will it be a case of securing the Baron and ending it off that? Or will the Chiefs go for the safe style and the guaranteed victory, to say the least? We have to find what their out is here, as they are prepping waves. They are clenching the map in their control. And all the vision is pushed up very far.
Sieging this inner turret, definitely possible that Mammoth will look for a fight. You can see Meifan sitting on a flank looking, playing with his own vision. But again, you've got the Hex Flash from Nautilus, you've got the pressure that you're seeing now in top lane as well. Chiefs with all of the tools that they would like if they're looking for perhaps that counterplay, looking for the engage themselves. A dive, realistically very possible with a Nautilus, Renekton, Diana combo. And Jhin can kind of just sit super far back, use the curtain call, and if Talon goes towards the Jhin, so be it. He's not in the fight, right? They're both doing the same job.
A bit of emote spam, why not? You're just waiting for a wave, you can't step up. You have no idea where they are. Control ward blocks out all the vision on the left-hand side. And Arthur's ready. Ready and waiting to take this Baron. Brings the rest of his team with him. They might just look to two-man this as the rest of Chiefs play bodyguards. Staunching out their opponents. And by the Topoon, or by the time I should say Topoon rocks up here, it's a guarantee.
Yeah, Blue Trinket spots it at what, 3,000 health. No time for Mammoth to get in there. No safety net for them to even walk in regardless. You'd think that face-checking Topoon even by himself, you're still face-checking a 2-item Renekton that is so far ahead of the game state, that he is absolutely terrifying to deal with. Mammoth's best response is to try and get probably just vision towards the dragon, but if they play to the dragon, they're going to lose an inhibitor. Tally is just an unstoppable pressure point of his own right. More than one person has to deal with him. I don't think Tron can fight him one-on-one. Reufury definitely cannot fight him one-on-one. They even bring a Lulu for good measure, just to see if they can find him, but no, they can't.
Well, the Chiefs are just dancing right now on this map. Come topside, 1v3. Oh, wait, deal with mid instead. And if you can't beat us mid, then just look towards bot side, and you got a very angry Crocodile that snowballed out of control very early on. Dragku said enough. It won't be Leona, but this result will, in fact, be far better. They took the wild growth from Rocco. Wasn't taking any chances with that one. And Arthur goes in for the two-man moonfall. Oh, they just stepped out of range. That's a nice little stasis. Baits out what could have been a Moonlight Vigil to take him on down. He's going to be able to try and survive in this situation. No, falls on down. It is Corki that picks up their kill once again. What can the Chiefs do to try and close out this game? But more importantly, what can Mammoth do to prevent their base from falling on down? One hip's already gone. Minions are pushing a top side as well. 3 down, bot 2. Minions are acting as that 6th member here for the Chiefs. And they'll say a 1-for-1, that's enough for us.
Yeah, it's also going to be turrets broken, the mid lane inhibitor gone. Dragku stops to hit the Hex Gate, just real quick there, had to be a misclick, and then continues to disengage and throws his hook to safety. That Corki, unfortunately, I think Reufury saw a montage moment and he got one hit instantly, and the montage was dead as soon as it started. You'd normally look at these situations and you'd say they are so far down Mammoth that you probably take the 1-for-1. You probably take the mid lane inhibitor being killed, as long as Chiefs don't get a shot at all 3 of them, because that's when it becomes impossible to hold. And the mid lane inhibitor is, in theory, the easiest inhib to hold. In saying that, if the Chiefs roster just shows up in mid lane with those supers, what do you do? I think Arthur just very far forwards, doesn't have Topoon ready, doesn't have Tally ready. It's hard to critique a team that is this far ahead because they are just limit testing a little bit. Every opportunity for an engage is probably a montage moment for each individual on the Chiefs. Tally had his chance. Arthur's now had a crack at it. I would say Topoon's next in line to try and go for that montage moment, but they're still coming out ahead, so it doesn't matter.
That's the crazy part, right? Despite them searching for that play of the day, there's no real risk associated with it. It looks fancy, it looks funny, but the game is still firmly in their control. Soon to be a 20k gold lead, as they will destroy, dismantle this base. Tally's is free-handedly taking this top and hip. That's 2 down now. The rest of the team with no Baron buff doesn't really matter at this stage. We'll open up that 3rd and final one. The hook, nice flash away. It's going to fall on down all the same. And tutorial-style gameplay seems to be the aim of this game. What can Mammoth do in a last-ditch effort?
It's tutorial victories and an impatient Arthur. Just keep your eyes on this Dida because he is looking. He's absolutely hunting for the engage angles. One good engage.
Here we go. Dragku jumps in, hits the depth charge straight onto the AD carry. What can they do to try and follow things up from that one? Coldmeat goes out nice and early. Raes finds that first kill. They take out the Tahm Kench. Undying Rage once again, cycling out, getting the health back, and not needing to burn the flash. Working their way onto the Nexus itself from putting in a little bit of damage, tickling those turrets, but more so waiting for these next minion waves to come on through. They need those empowered supers. That's what they're waiting for, and that's what they're not finding. A big one connects, and they lose their support. They lose Topoon too. The voice will fall on down for it. He got the shutdown goal, but he can't utilize it for 40 seconds.
And Raes is completely untouched. Reufury trying to do this by himself. Tally no ultimate means that the Tryndamere can't get involved, but just not enough gas in the tank, you wouldn't say, for the mid laner of Mammoth.
Here come the supers. There's the delayed ace. You're respawning. It does not matter. In come the game win conditions. And at 26 minutes, Chiefs go 2-0.
Tally with a cheeky